In a galaxy full of powerful species, humans were considered the weakest. No telepathy, no natural armor, no ancient technology, just fragile bodies and short lives. So when the Galactic Council assigned a human to protect a telepath from the Tari species, most people assumed it was because humans were cheap and expendable. But 8 months later, she would discover the truth. The human protecting her had been fighting a silent war the entire time, and he was willing to die without her ever knowing. Chapter 1. The Silent Human. Yuna stood beside the enormous observation window of Valora 7 station, watching ships glide through the endless darkness of space. Behind her stood the human, Dohon. He had been there for 6 hours without moving. Yuna didn't even need to look to know it. Her species, the Tari, possessed telepathic abilities. They could feel emotions and thoughts like heat from a fire. Most minds were easy to sense: joy, fear, anger. But the human? His mind was different. It was like a locked door. Quiet, controlled, almost unnatural. She turned to him. He stood near the chamber entrance, hands behind his back, eyes slowly scanning the room, counting exits, watching people, calculating distances. Humans had only joined the galactic community 40 years ago. Compared to other civilizations, they were unimpressive. No telepathy like the Tari, no natural armor like the COR, no advanced technology like the Ven, just fragile bodies and short lives. Which made Yuna wonder, why had the Galactic Council assigned a human to guard the Tari delegation? The answer she always received was simple: humans were cheap, and humans were expendable. Chapter 2. The Reception. The diplomatic reception was filled with creatures from across the galaxy. Strange bodies, stranger voices, politics hidden behind smiles. Yuna moved gracefully through the crowd, translating for her delegation. But she was always aware of one thing: the human. Dohon stood far away at the edge of the hall. Yet somehow, he always had eyes on her. When she moved, he adjusted position. When someone approached her, he watched them carefully. Always near an exit. Always prepared. Then the COR ambassador arrived. A towering warrior named Voron. His scarred gray skin and sharp teeth made most diplomats nervous. He leaned close to Yuna. Too close. The COR would welcome a partnership with the Tari, he said slowly. Yuna kept her voice calm. We have reviewed your proposal. Voron smiled. Everything has a price. Suddenly a voice spoke beside her. Excuse me, Dohon. He had appeared silently at her side. The ambassador requires the translator immediately. Voron stared down at the human, then laughed. Humans are amusing, he said. Like pets who believe they are people. But he stepped away. After he left, Yuna looked at the human. The ambassador never called for me. I know, Dohon said. You lied. Yes. Why? Dohon paused. There are many kinds of threats. Then he walked away. And Yuna realized something strange. For the first time, she wondered if there was more to the human than she had believed. Chapter 3. The Explosion. Days later the station celebrated the Festival of Lights. Lanterns floated in the air. Music echoed through the markets. For a moment, Yuna forgot about politics and war. She bought a crystal flower from her homeworld. It sparkled beautifully in the lights. Then the world exploded. A blast ripped through the market. The force threw Yuna across the street. Smoke. Screaming. Fire. She tried to stand, but her body wouldn't move. Her vision blurred. This is how I die. Then suddenly, a body crashed over hers. Dohon. He wrapped himself around her, shielding her from falling debris. Another explosion hit. Something slammed into his back. He grunted in pain, but didn't move. didn't let go. And in that moment, Yuna's mental control shattered. Their minds touched, and she fell into his thoughts. Chapter 4. The Truth. She expected chaos, fear, panic. Instead she found something impossible. Order. His mind was calm, focused, precise. She felt his thoughts calculating escape routes, threat analysis, survival probabilities. But the calculations weren't about his survival. They were about hers. Then she saw memories. Dohon studying Tari biology late at night, learning which foods were safe for her. She saw him intercepting poison documents meant for the delegation, testing the toxin on himself, spending 4 days nearly dying in medical care. She saw him meeting informants across the station, tracking assassins, stopping kidnappers. 8 months of battles, 8 months of danger, 8 months of silent sacrifice. And beneath it all was one constant thought: keep her safe. She does not need to know. Let her live her life. Just keep her safe. Yuna pulled back from his mind in shock. The connection broke. Reality returned. Dohon lifted her from the ground. Are you hurt? He asked calmly. She stared at him, seeing him for the first time. The human she had dismissed as ordinary had been risking his life for her every day. Chapter 5. The Choice. Later Yuna learned the truth from station intelligence. The COR had been planning to capture her. Her telepathic ability made her extremely valuable. Dohon had volunteered to protect her. Alone. For 8 months he had stopped assassins, spies, and poison attacks. Without recognition. Without thanks. When she confronted him on the observation deck, she asked the question that haunted her. Why would you die for someone like me? Dohon looked out at the stars. Humans aren't the strongest species, he said. We're not the smartest. But we can choose. We choose what matters. And sometimes, someone else's life matters more than our own. Yuna took his hand. Then let me choose too, she said. I will fight beside you. For the first time. The silent human smiled. Chapter 6. The Battle. 3 days later the COR strike team arrived. 12 elite operatives. Their target. Yuna. But this time she wasn't alone. Using her telepathy, she tracked the enemy across the station. Dohon led security teams to intercept them. Every ambush. Every hidden attacker. Every trap. Yuna guided him through it. And one by one, the operatives fell. The COR attack failed. Chapter 7. Aftermath. Later that night, the station commander offered Dohon any reward he wanted. He didn't hesitate. I would like to continue my assignment. To protect the Tari delegation. Yuna stood beside him and smiled. On the observation deck later that night, she gently opened a telepathic connection between them. Not invasive. Just a bridge. She sent him a thought. Thank you. You are not alone anymore. He squeezed her hand. And sent one back. Neither are you. Together they stood beneath the stars. 2 beings from different worlds. Bound by trust. Sacrifice. And something deeper still. In a dangerous galaxy. Sometimes the weakest species could be the strongest of all. Beside the door. Silent. Watching. Protecting. She slowly expanded her telepathic awareness across the station. Searching. Feeling. Listening. Then she found it. The other mind. Cold. Disciplined. Sharp as broken glass. The moment their thoughts touched, the stranger noticed her. Instantly. Yuna gasped. The other telepath pushed back hard. Not violent, but powerful. A voice echoed in her mind. So, you are the Tari translator. Yuna froze. The mental voice was calm. Amused. You are stronger than the reports suggested. Who are you? Yuna whispered. The reply came instantly. Your replacement. Then the connection vanished. Yuna collapsed back against the wall. Dohan rushed forward. What happened? She looked at him with fear in her eyes. They didn't send a spy. They sent a telepath hunter. Chapter 12. The Human Strategy. Later, inside the intelligence command room, Yuna explained everything. Myra listened carefully. Dohan stood beside her, arms crossed. So, Myra said slowly, the COA brought someone capable of matching you. Yes. And they know you're looking for them. Yes. Myra exhaled. Well, that's unfortunate. Dohan spoke calmly. Not necessarily. Both women looked at him. He walked to the holographic station map. They want Yuna, he said. So they'll follow her. Yuna frowned. You're suggesting bait. Yes. Myra raised an eyebrow. You want to lure them out. Dohan nodded. They think we're reacting. His eyes sharpened. Let's show them we're hunting instead. Yuna studied him. Then slowly smiled. Humans truly were strange creatures. Because instead of running from danger, they sometimes chose to become it. Chapter 13. The Trap. The following night Yuna walked openly through the station marketplace. No guards. No escort. No visible protection. To anyone watching, she looked completely vulnerable. But the reality was very different. Hidden security teams surrounded the area. Station cameras tracked every movement. And high above the rooftops, Dohan watched everything. His eyes never left her. Then Yuna felt it. The enemy telepath again. Closer this time. Studying her. Testing her defenses. The voice returned. You're brave. Or foolish. Yuna responded mentally. Perhaps both. The reply carried amusement. Your human protector is not here. Yuna smiled slightly. You're wrong about that. At that exact moment, Dohan moved. Like a shadow dropping from the night. The trap snapped shut. Chapter 14. The Hunter Falls. The COR telepath realized the mistake too late. Security teams closed in. Escape routes sealed. Blaster fire echoed through the alleyways. But the telepath moved fast. Faster than expected. 3 guards fell before they could react. Then Dohan stepped into the alley. The COR telepath stared at him. You're the human. Yes. You're the problem. Dohan shrugged slightly. I get that a lot. The telepath lunged. The fight lasted only seconds. But those seconds were brutal. The COR was powerful. Fast. Trained. But Dohan had something different. Experience. Patience. And absolute focus. The fight ended with the COR telepath unconscious on the ground. Security forces surrounded them. Yuna arrived moments later. Dohan wiped blood from his lip. You okay? He asked. She nodded. Then looked down at the captured enemy. War avoided, she said softly. Dohan shook his head. Not avoided. Delayed. Chapter 15. A New Beginning. Weeks later the Tari delegation prepared to leave Valora 7. Their mission was complete. The COR threat had been neutralized. At least for now. Yuna stood once again on the observation deck, watching the stars. Dohan approached quietly. Your ship leaves in 2 hours. Yes. Silence filled the room. Then she turned to him. You're coming with us. He blinked. That wasn't part of the assignment. It is now. She smiled gently. The Tari Council has requested your continued protection. Dohan considered this. Then asked the real question. And you? Yuna reached out and took his hand. I requested it. For the first time since they met, the human looked truly surprised. Then he smiled. And together they watched the stars. Because their story was only beginning.